Rather lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. We're going to be diving into the latest around Arsenal, especially that deal on Mykhaylo Mudryk. Shakhtar Donetsk, very adamant. They want up to 88 million euros, and Arsenal very adamant they will not pay above 70 million euros. We're going to be diving into that deal because there is a lot to talk about. There is a bidding war that Shakhtar have created, Arsenal and Chelsea. Arsenal made it very clear that they will not be part of any bidding wars. They will be watching the situation besides the bidding war. And if Chelsea decide to sign Mykhaylo Mudryk for a very hefty fee, Arsenal will not be rivaling them. We're going to be diving into that. Subscribe to the channel, hit the like button. Let's get this video to 500 likes. And also in the comment section, let me know, should Arsenal and Chelsea face off for Mykhaylo Mudryk? Should we be in that bidding war? Is it worth all that? Should we be in there? Should we pay more money than Chelsea? Or should Arsenal actually walk away? Because according to some of the sources I've been looking at, Arsenal are still confident they will get the deal done, but if it doesn't come off, if it doesn't finish in our way, then we will actually walk away. So do you think we should be fighting to beat Chelsea, or we should fight to get any other player through the door? Let me know in the comment section below. Right, so let's get into it. First and foremost, Fabrizio Romano did just confirm that Chelsea and Shakhtar Donetsk CEO today will be in talks because he will be in London. Now, Sina, who is the CEO at Shakhtar, is expected to be in London to watch that game, Chelsea versus Manchester City. I'm gonna be supporting Chelsea in this one because I think really City need to stay away. We need to stay within some desirable point gap. So I'm gonna be on the side of Chelsea. Probably a draw will be a nice result on my end. But the Shakhtar CEO will be watching this game live from the stands, and we presume and we understand still that he will be talking to Chelsea representatives and Todi Boehly about Mykhaylo Mudryk. Now, the information that I have, and I get this from Romano, Charles Watts, and David Onstein, they are still saying the same thing, that Chelsea are very much committed about beating Arsenal on Mykhaylo Mudryk. They're actually ready to pay whatever we've paid plus more money. So they want to offer Shakhtar Donetsk more than 70 million euros. They want to give him. They want to give them around 80 to 88 million euros, if that is what it's gonna take to do the deal. Now, do not forget they've already signed Christopher Nkunku from RB Leipzig. Should be joining them either in January or the summer. I don't know the details of that, but then they want to add another attacking prowess. They want to add another attacking magnet in Mykhaylo Mudryk. So there will be talks between Shakhtar and Chelsea today. The man is going to be in London. The CEO at Shakhtar is going to be in London to make sure that a deal is done. Now, this doesn't mean that he won't talk to Arsenal or he's trying to avoid Arsenal. What Shakhtar are trying to do here, and I spoke about it the other time, that they will try to create a bidding war, and this was something that I thought they would do. This was something that I thought was a no-brainer. They were gonna try to do this. Ajax have done this. Dortmund have done this. All these other clubs have actually done it. They always create a bidding war to make sure that they get the best price so that they sell to the highest bidder. It happened with Lisandro Martinez. Man United ended up paying a lot of money for Lisandro Martinez. I don't know whether he was worth it or not worth it. I think he's a very good centre back, but then they ended up paying a lot of money. And then Arsenal paid a lot of money for Benjamin White because there were a few threats that Chelsea were also in, and that's why we paid that kind of ridiculous amount of money. Although I believe Arsenal really wanted to sign him, and we would have paid 50 whether there was competition or not. So there is competition from Chelsea. Chelsea are willing to pay more than what Arsenal are offering at the moment. Now, this is very crucial. It comes in from Charles Watts, one of the very close journalists to Arsenal, has sources deep into the club, and he says Arsenal will not be part of the bidding war. And I repeat that. Arsenal do not have any intentions or preparations of being part of the bidding war that has been created by Shakhtar Donetsk in January. And this actually makes a lot of sense in my opinion. It makes a lot of sense in my own eyes, because look, number one, we are looking at a player whose price is already ridiculous in January. We are talking about in excess of 60 million. in January. That only is ridiculous. That only is very, very high. And then we are talking about a player who literally doesn't want to be at Shakhtar, so they've got to find a way. They need to sell him. I don't see why Arsenal should be, paying a lot of money for Shakhtar to find a place for a player who actually doesn't want to be with them anymore. We're gonna be talking about his reaction to one of the posts that was actually saying free Mykhaylo Mudryk. I'm gonna be letting you know what happened, but I think Arsenal are very, very smart here. Arsenal are very, very clever here. You don't want to be in a bidding war that you eventually are not going to win. Because Chelsea and Todd Boehly, the way we know them, I don't know if he knows anything about FFP rules or he knows anything about, how much you can spend and how much you cannot spend. They might end up actually putting themselves in a lot of problems. But if Chelsea have come in with 80 million, what are Arsenal supposed to do? Do we go in with 60? Do we go in? Do we go in with 90? No. Do we go in with 100? No. So according to us, Arsenal will not be part of this bidding war. And sources in the UK are also saying that Arsenal have a price ceiling. We also have a maximum amount of money we are willing to pay Shakhtar Donetsk for Mykhaylo Mudryk. So it's not all about Shakhtar and what they want. It's also about Arsenal and what we think we want, and how much we think we are gonna pay for the player. And in my eyes, 75 million euros should be the maximum. Yes, we understand the Shakhtar want about 85 million pounds. That is close to 100 million euros. But Arsenal going in with 75 million euros, if they think that is the ceiling, if they think the player is not worth more than that, then we definitely have got to walk away. So it's a very, very smart decision that Arsenal will not be in a bidding war with Chelsea. That is quite okay. And also it's a very, very smart decision that Arsenal will not be increasing their price ridiculously above their ceiling. Now, the players already told his representatives and Shakhtar that he wouldn't want to join Chelsea. Now, this comes in from The Sun. Now, I don't trust this one because, look, I think Mykhaylo Mudryk is in love with Arsenal. There's no question about that. He's been in constant communication with Alexander Zinchenko. Zinchenko is the captain at Ukraine. They have a very good relationship. He's also talked to Mikel Arteta on a couple of occasions. But here we are talking career. Here we are talking money. Here we are talking freedom. We are talking about so many things that will actually propel Mykhaylo Mudryk to move to Chelsea. So this one is not something I can actually rule out. Yes, he doesn't want Chelsea at the moment. He wouldn't want to sign for them over Arsenal. But the question is, would he eventually sign for them? I think all players have this. For me, he would eventually sign for them. He would eventually go there and say, if I can't materialize a deal to Arsenal, then let me work on a deal to Chelsea. So he doesn't want Chelsea at the moment. He's told his representatives and they're working on a deal. Shakhtar look unbothered about what the player wants. They're actually more bothered about how much money can we get out of this deal? How much money can we pull out of this, rather than what does the player want and where does he want to be? So if you're Mykhaylo Mudryk right now, what I do is I agree terms with both Chelsea and Arsenal, so that if the deal for Arsenal doesn't work, come through because Arsenal don't have the money to pay for me, then I eventually end up at Chelsea. I see this as a deal that Arsenal win eventually, and I see it as the deal that Chelsea, I think they will be there in the shadows. They will have talks. There is no formal bid from them, so there will be talks about Mykhaylo Mudryk, but it will end up on the side, where does the player want to be? It's the same thing with what happened with Rafinha in the summer. Arsenal talked to Rafinha. We also talked to Leeds United. We were ready to bid whatever Leeds United wanted, but the question was, does Rafinha consider us a priority? And the truth was, Rafinha didn't consider us as a priority, and he ended up going to Barcelona at the end of the day. So Arsenal remain calm amidst all this, very positive. We are not increasing our prices, and the 80 million pounds that Shakhtar looking for, we will not pay that huge amount of money. Now, what is interesting here, guys, is that yes, their CEO will be in London, but this is what actually made me happy. Shakhtar are waiting for offers from other clubs. They're waiting for other offers for other clubs in order for them to evaluate, weigh, and see whether they should sell to Arsenal or not. Now, one thing I've seen is that they told Arsenal to add some more money to the deal. They've told us that if you want to sign him, if you want to take him, then you've got to add some more money to the deal, probably 10, probably 15 million euros. Okay, now that shows you they're not outrightly rejecting our offer. And that's why I didn't report that the second bid has been rejected, like many sources are claiming. They have not rejected that offer. They have literally told us, add more money, okay? And this is a very, very smart game for Shakhtar. They do not want to refuse Arsenal's money because they're not sure if there is another club that's going to come in and give them that amount of money. But then on the same side, or on the same note, they do not want to commit to Arsenal's offer only. They would love to see what do other clubs have to offer, how much they have to offer, and which is the better deal. And I think this is understandable, unless otherwise. In my opinion, this is quite understandable. I mean, if you're selling your merchandise, your stock, or your product, your service, then you need to look at different offers. You need to be sure, am I selling to the right buyer? Am I selling to the best buyer? Am I selling to the highest bidder? So there's no problem here from Shakhtar. I think what Arsenal need to do is be sure of their price, be sure of the timing, and be sure to be patient enough. It's eventually going to come around. I think Chelsea will want to pay more money. They will be rejected by the player. Okay? Which other club is going to come in to match Arsenal's offer? We do not know at the moment. But if there is no other club that actually comes in to match Arsenal's offer, that is when the deal blows up. That is when it eventually comes around and Arsenal take the player for £60 million. So we've got to be patient. You can see what I can see what Shakhtar are trying to do. Everyone can see what Shakhtar are trying to do. They're trying to tell the world, come and get him. He's available. This was also done by Fiorentina in January, but it wasn't successful because there are only two clubs that eventually wanted the player. It was Juve and Arsenal. The player wanted Juve, and he ended up at Juve. Okay, so the Dusan Vlahovic situation, the Rafinha situation is quite very, very similar here. We are just and remember in the summer, Barca were very quiet. Barca were very, they took it easy. They said, you guys can talk to Rafinha, you guys can talk to Leeds United, but for us, we already have an agreement on personal terms with the player. When we want him, when we are ready to pay the money, then we will actually come in. All right? So it's the same situation. Arsenal wait a little bit longer. Just, maybe focus on other deals, do other deals. And when all these clubs actually fail to, eventually fail to sign the player, that is when we will get our man. So I don't have problems with this one. I don't have any problems with this one. I think it will eventually happen. So the last thing I want to talk about, apart from that the fact that talks are ongoing from Charles Watts, he says there is a huge difference in valuation, but talks are ongoing. There is nothing like broken talks. Talks have not yet broken down. We are still hoping, and there is still the optimism that Arsenal will get the deal done. Now, yesterday, Mykhaylo Mudryk did another thing that actually was ridiculous. So what he did is he went and liked a photo or a post that actually had the message, "Let me go." So literally, the message in the template was, Shakhtar are holding him hostage and he's behind bars and he needs his freedom. He went and liked that post. Amidst all talk that many of his teammates have actually told him, and they've been joking about it, that he's already an Arsenal player. Like I said, I wouldn't really want my player to do this, but this works in our favor. That is more than enough pressure on Shakhtar. That is more than enough pressure for a club like Shakhtar to handle. And I know they've had these kind of Brazilian players, and they've sold them for huge fees, and they know what it means to sell a high, profile player. But this is just too much. I don't think he's gonna stay. he's done everything negative to make sure that the deal happens. If he stays, the relationship between him and his bosses at Shakhtar is going to be very, very poor because it has been frailing almost every single day, right? Almost every single day. So that is the latest one. He went to Instagram and liked a post that said, free Mykhaylo Mudryk, stop holding him hostage. Okay? So that is where Shakhtar are. That is where Arsenal are. Just to give you a simple recap of the situation, we are still in talks. They have not yet broken down. The player is desperate to join. He's done everything in his power to tell them to let him go. Shakhtar have successfully created a bidding war with Chelsea now being the real opponents for Arsenal, and they're willing to pay whatever amount there is as long as the player is willing to join them. The player doesn't want to play for them, and Arsenal will not be part of the bidding war. Shakhtar are waiting for other offers from other clubs to decide. Okay, so that is it. We've been told to add more money to the package. We've been told the package we've sent in is slightly behind what Shakhtar want. Should we pay more money? Should we walk away? Your thoughts in the comment section. I would really love to get your thoughts, honest thoughts about this one. But I don't think Chelsea win this one. Like, they can win tonight. I don't see them winning on this one. See you soon.